All right, everyone, it is Dokkan time again today, and today I'm not using my face cam. I'm extremely tired. It is midnight, and I am on less than 5 hours of sleep, so I'll be using this instead of my very, very tired face. But anyways, we're still on this. We're on the grind, and today we're going to be going over the LR AGL Demon King Piccolo. This is a free-to-play unit, so there is no 55% build. There is only a 100% build. I do not feel that he needs to have more than one specific build. By all means, experiment if you so choose and see if there's other teams you feel comfortable with him on. But I've only found so many ways to utilize him and see him in his best light versus his worst light. And I have to say he has a pretty big ceiling for a free-to-play unit, and if it wasn't for the fact that Dragonball Saga and well, other Demon King Piccolos in the game are not good right now, this could potentially be the strongest free-to-play unit in Dokkan Battle right now at the time of recording. Also, this unit does have special equipment orbs, which you'll see on the right side of the screen flashing through. That is the stage where you can get these special equipment orbs for this unit. He has a very large ceiling of equipment orbs that can give him a very strong set of equipment up to level 9 bronze and level 6 silver. No, wait, level 5 silver. I apologize, that shouldn't say level 6. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So, he does have equipment orbs that you will be able to get up to level 5 on silver and level 6 on gold equips. So do keep in mind that you'll need to go grind those to get his best orbs. And yeah, let's just kind of get into his kit. I've been rambling on already for 2 minutes. So, LR Demon King Piccolo does have a standby skill. The standby skill puts him into another stage, just another Demon King Piccolo. Elder. It's not changing his name, but because he goes into this standby feature, he can link with another Demon King Piccolo, quote-unquote, Elder now, once you go into the standby mode, which goes and changes him into this profile, this picture, this icon. His stats will change, so we will go over that, but I just had to mention that he does have a standby. I do not know, actually, if you do finish this, because you can actually finish his standby early, and you'll actually be in this state instead of his youthful state, which is just Demon King Piccolo. But anyways, let's just go over his normal kit. He is a demonic power free-to-play leader at 80%. For HP, attack, and defense. He greatly raises attack on 12 key, and he greatly raises attack and defense on 18 key. He is supporting extreme class allies, attack and defense plus 50%, and an additional 10% for those on the demonic power. So what this means is that Demon King Piccolo is a 60% support to demonic power and 50% support to extreme class allies. He receives an additional key plus 1 per key sphere obtained. And when attacking, let me get my pointer here. When attacking, he gets attack and defense 100%, and per demonic power category ally or extreme class ally, he'll get an additional attack and defense of 20% up to 100%. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So that means you have to have a full team of extreme or demonic power allies, one of the two. Remember, demonic power allies have Gohans on there, so you can technically have a super team, but they all have to be demonic power. When all allies attacking in the same turn are demonic power category allies, or when all allies are extreme, he guards all attacks. Once again, another mandatory reason why he needs to just be on one of the two. And as the third attacker in turn, he has a 50% chance to dodge. So in his base state, he has a 50% chance to dodge in slot 3. I would highly suggest that you float him to slot 3 to be until he can come back and go into his standby. Now, his standbys for 4 turns specifically, so 2 appearances, during which 7 Dragon Balls appear and charge count increases by 1. per Dragon Ball obtained by allies. The reason why it's 4 turns is because you can float him again once you've standbyed him, and by the time he comes back around, he'll be on the final turn for which he can standby finish. The standby conditions can be activated when all allies attacking the same turn are demonic power category characters starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, and when all allies are extreme class starting from the 3rd turn from the start of battle, or just starting from the 5th turn. So if for whatever reason you're not rocking him on an extreme team or demonic power team, he can go into the standby on the 5th turn. Obviously, this is not okay. You need to have him on an extreme or demonic power team so that you can activate this on the 3rd turn as soon as possible. So ideally, he's in the 7th slot and his first appearance is on turn 3. So his link skills are Demonic Ways, Revival, The Incredible Venture, Guidance of the Dragon Balls, Nightmare, Shattering the Limit, and Legendary Power. All of these links actually do have very high attack modifiers, just keep that in mind. And he is on a good portion of categories. The only issue is that he has to be on a full extreme or demonic power team. Unfortunately, at the time of writing, his links are not good enough. They are good links, but they are not accompanied by good partners. His partners are slim to none, and that's an understatement of the century. Unfortunately, he will only link well with himself. I do think there is some hope in the future. We could see this STR Demon King Piccolo potentially get an EZA from World Tournament. Usually when World Tournament EZAs come out, it's literally, there's one good EZA. So it's like a 1 in 5 chance that that guy could get a good EZA. Let's go ahead and move on to his standby mode, basically. This is his standby. Once he goes into standby, he still has the same super attack, the same super attacks. And so nothing changes there. But a little bit of changes here and there in his passive. So he is now, it's really weird. So extreme class allies attack and defense plus 40%, and now demonic power allies get 20% extra. So it's really weird that they actually lowered this, because let's go back. Let's go back to his base where extreme class allies are getting 50% and then demonic power allies are getting 10%. I don't know why they chose to do this. It's a very weird, nitpicky thing that they chose to do. It's really weird. It's the weirdest thing I've seen. But anyways, he still gets extra ki. He still has an extra 100% attack and defense when attacking. But now he's also getting another additional attack and defense of 100% for 3 turns when you collect 6 or more ki spheres. And now, instead of only getting 20% per ally, he's getting 30% attack and defense per extreme class or demonic power category ally on the team, and that goes up to 150%, obviously. And then when all allies are, once again, demonic power extreme class allies, he now is guarding all attacks. He's changing ki spheres from int to AGL, and he's randomly changing ki spheres of a certain type to rainbow ki spheres. This is a very, very good orb changer right here. This is excellent orb changing right here. And now, as the 2nd or 3rd attacker in a turn, he has 50% chance to dodge. So now he's not stuck to slot 3. You can actually keep him on rotation now, potentially. This is where you'll have the chance to decide his fate. You can either use his finish skill early before you collect 7 Dragon Balls, and it'll raise his attack by 100% per charge, so 600% attack increase, and you'll be able to cause ultimate damage. So for this turn, I feel like he'll do a very good amount of damage all at once. I don't think it'll eclipse the amount that he gets in his youth. This is the one thing I did not test, purely because it's a finish skill. So once you finish it, you go back to your normal state and you're much weaker. So I don't think it's worth doing this. I think it's just something that they added in just in case you didn't get the 7 Dragon Balls. But otherwise, when you finish when you do the finish skill with collecting 7 Dragon Balls, you will transform into his youthful state of Demon King Piccolo right here. Now his attacks change a little bit. His 18 key now massively raises attack and defense for 1 turn. All of a sudden, he's getting a lot more attack and defense. Now his base effects are attack and defense 150. He's giving extreme class allies 30% and demonic power allies an additional 30%. So he's still supporting demonic power allies by 60%. But extreme class allies are only getting supported by 30%. So this is just a more bigger push to demonic power category. I'm not sure why they decided to do this. It does limit him a little bit more, but I do feel like he's more at home on a demonic power leader. Anyways, receives an additional key plus 1 per key sphere still. He's just guarding. There's no restrictions here. He's still double orb changing of int and AGL. Int to AGL specifically. And then he has a 50% chance to dodge outright, even in slot 1 now. And now he has a little bit of extra in here. When attacking, attack and defense 150. And per demonic power category ally or extreme class ally on the team, he gets an additional attack and defense of 40% now, up to 200. And when there's a super class enemy, performs a critical hit. Yes, he has free criticals once he gets to this point. So there is no reason you should be giving this guy crit. And then this only happens once, by the way. And it's pretty crazy. Extreme class allies chance of performing a critical hit 66% with 6 or more key spheres obtained. This is an absurd supportive ability that I feel like I'm going to abuse the crap out of, first of all. I'm going to use this, specifically with my LR EZA Tech Broly, because that fool never wants to crit. But this is really crazy. Giving 66% chance to crit, you could have an absurdly good rotation if you timed it just perfectly and just have a really hardcore team just do a lot of damage on this turn. And this guy does a lot of damage, by the way. But anyways, so with that all being said, I mean, he's pretty good. I would say I still have to say that I feel that this LR Demon King Piccolo is probably the best free-to-play unit right now as far as stats go. You know, as far as what he can do for a team. I think he's really good. I really do like this unit quite a bit. Before we get into his defense numbers here, I did want to show you that he does have a lot of equipment orbs you can get. And you're going to probably be grinding a lot to get his perfect orbs. So when you're grinding the stage 15 of the Super Warriors Dragon Ball Edition, you can get attack orbs all the way up to level 9. You can get defense orbs all the way up to level 9. You can actually get level 3 additionals, crits, and dodges. And then you get these generic attack boosts that are worthless. You can get some dual orbs here, though I don't feel like they're worth anything. Once again, he has free crits against super enemies. Just be mindful of what you're bringing this unit into. Bring him into super-based fights. And then for his silver slots, he's getting, of course, level 5s. But he also has a level 6 dodge orb. Now, this is the interesting part, is that he doesn't get level 6 additional orbs, but he does get a level 6 dodge orb. This is the developers telling you, we want you to dodge with this unit. We want you to understand that this is his defense mechanic primarily, other than his guard. That not to be said that he doesn't have good defense. We'll get into his defense later. But you do have a couple combo orbs once again, but there's no reason to be using them. These are the real the silver orbs that you should be utilizing. Level 4 to defense, level 2 additional, level 5 additional, and level 3 defense dual orb. And then we have the dodge level 4 and level 5 plus defense level 2 and level 3. These are absurdly great. I love this. This is great. This is exactly what we want for a free-to-play unit. this is what you should be aiming for. And then as far as his gold orbs go, once again, I don't see any purpose in giving this unit crit. By all means, you do you, of course, but I don't see any reason for it. And then we get into his gold equips where he has level 5 and level 6 additional gold orbs that have a mixture of level 2 to 3 defense. I would say this is okay. If you want to trade out a little bit of dodge for more damage, I would completely understand, because this guy does a lot of damage, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you once we're done right here. Once again, I don't feel like there's any need for the crit, but you can, of course, get a level 5 or a level 6 dodge gold orb that does accompany it with a level 2 or level 3 defense orb. The amount of defense you can get from these orbs is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Let me try to pull up a clip real quick where he just does crazy damage. All right, so this is going to be a really poor boss fight, but I wanted to make sure that when I was testing out this guy, that he was going to go into a fight that I felt he could reasonably handle. And I felt Beast Gohan was a very reasonable fight. So let's take a look here. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch the amount of damage that this dude was doing? Look at those numbers climb. 41 mil. 41 million damage. Now, this is on a double Glorio team. Hold on a sec here. This is on a double Glorio team, where the only thing on the rotation is floating Glorios, and then I was keeping the tech Demon King Piccolo alive by making sure he got all the orbs, and I was using Ghost Ushers. Actually, I wasn't using a Ghost Usher. I just had to heal every now and again. But I managed to keep him safe up to that point, and I used the Sensu Bean to make sure I lined this turn up correctly. But yeah, no, he just does absurd amounts of damage, man. He just does absurd amount of damage in here. I'm telling you. Oh, never mind. I used the Ghost Usher. But yeah, 41 million. 41 million. That's just absolutely crazy how much damage he can do. It is just absolutely crazy. And that we only do an additional right here, but the damage is just absolutely insane. It's just a crazy amount of damage, I'm telling you. So with his attack out of the way, let's go ahead and go into his defense. This defense is going to be calculated specifically with the extra 2,400 defense he can get from his skill orbs that you can grind in stage 15 of the Super Warriors Dragon Ball Edition event under a double Glorio lead. So I hope that y'all have double Glorio, because oh dang. So in his base state, he's not looking insane, but on a full demonic power team, I don't think you'll have domain up, but you can get, if you had a domain up with 40% support, you could get up to about a 1.2 million defense on a doubles. I don't know why it's okay on normal 18 key. But once you actually go into your standby mode, this is when his defense will actually start going up quite a bit more. With 6 or more key spheres obtained with a domain, you could get up to almost 2 million defense. Once again, I don't think a domain is realistic, because Lord Slug's domain activates automatically, and his is the only domain that he can actually benefit from correctly. So I do feel that it's not likely for this to happen, because by the time you actually get through that domain and get into this final stage of him, it's going to be about turn 5. It's going to be about turn 5, so you'd only have one full turn with that domain to go into this. So when you see the domain numbers, please don't assume that you're going to have it for the whole rest of the fight, because some of these newer fights that we're getting from 10th anniversary are very long, and you will not have domain active more than likely. Early fight you will, of course. But anyways, so on a full demonic... Oh, he's not even calculating for domain now. Okay, that's fine. So on a full demonic power team, post 18 key super, we're looking at 3 million defense with guard. And then post double super, actually, no, you can't double super. Double super does nothing. So make sure you get that 18 key. You should have no issues. He's an orb changer after all. But yeah, 3.2 million defense. It's pretty crazy how high that can get. He was very good about this, and he decided to only link up with Lord Slug, which is good because this is the average that you're actually going to see on a typical team along with this Lord Slug. Let's get into his build suggestion and then his role tips so that I can properly explain the 2 or 3 or 4 teams that you can try to manage him on. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I don't know why I had to do that. There was no reason for it. Anyways, so let's go to his build. So his build is just very straightforward. There is no reason to deviate from this build. I feel I really don't think there's any reason not to be going full dodge with him. He's got 50% chance to dodge. People need to understand that the new meta is very rough. It is very crazy. It is very painful. We have criticals coming in. So with critical attacks being more common for newer fights now that I'm seeing, it's become an instance where you now have to have guard. You have to have a high damage reduction or you will die. It's just guaranteed. Otherwise you need to dodge. So in this case of this free to play unit, though his defense is absurdly good, which will be nice for any other time, you know, when you're fighting a normal fight, you're guaranteed good on the defense. But you go up against a boss that has critical, you will not survive because he doesn't have damage reduction. He only has guard and a very raw defense, which is still good, but we have to be mindful of critical hits now. And that means we need higher damage reduction or we need higher dodge chance. As a free-to-play unit, for general gameplay, I highly suggest you just give him the dodge. Though, you can discredit this and you can go ahead and just go into additional. That is perfectly fine. If you want to see more unga bunga damage numbers out of him, I would not blame you whatsoever. He does good damage. Heck, he's a free-to-play unit. Just go ahead and make a second copy and go full additional. I might do that. I might do that. But anyways. My suggestion for his equipment orbs is going to be the level 9 bronze defense, the level 3 dodge, and level 5 dodge with the level 3 defense silver, and the level 6 dodge with the level 3 defense orb. Like, remember what I said though, you can definitely go ahead and change this gold to this gold instead, where it's an additional. I totally would understand wanting to get more actual damage out of him with his additionals, because that's what his additionals are only doing. Remember, this guy does not have any defense on his 12 key. When you additional, you're getting only the 12 key. You're not getting the 18 key again. So just keep that in mind. I would not blame you whatsoever for going and grabbing the additional defense orb. This is a perfectly fine, good orb. The most important thing you add to this Demon King Piccolo is the extra defense you can get from these equipment pieces. That is the most important thing over all of everything. Once again, level 5 silver, or I would highly suggest the level 5 additional with the level 3 defense orb for the silver. And if you want to be so keen and do some extra damage, I would not blame anyone if they went for a level 9 damage orb. Once again, I might actually do this and throw this on him with the second copy I'm going to grind up. I want to see how much damage he can do, because he is a free-to-play unit, and when we have free-to-play units, the devs love to throw free-to-play content at us, so perhaps this guy will be a secret weapon for us later on. But anyways, with his build suggestion out of the way, let's just go on to his roll tips. So you'll notice I made the roll tips heart, not not blue or ice blue. It's now a red heart. This is because he's got a pretty beefy damage amount. He's pretty beefy in general. He's not necessarily a tank, but he is a good damage dealer. He's a good tanky-ish unit. He's supporting. This is honestly a fantastic free-to-play unit. It's just a shame that he's stuck to demonic power or extreme class. You have to have him on there. So as far as leaders go, Double Glorio is the best team you can utilize him on, and then Lord Slug as a secondary team. Partner-wise, it's very low. There's very little usage here. The Tech LR Demon King Piccolo is not technically viable for content, but this is 100% his best link partner, so I had to throw him onto the roll tips. As far as a best partner goes, this means that these two would be his best slot 1 position, as he is a slot 2 and slot 3 unit specifically. I felt Vegeta could be definitely thrown on to the Lord Slug team, and I do believe if we do go ahead and look Glorio's team here, Glorio is a demonic power and he is a accelerated battle leader, and I do believe that on Vegeta is on accelerated battle. Is he? Let's find out. There he is, accelerated battle. So he would be under potentially, I think he actually, is he a seeker? Is he a Dragon Ball seeker? Hold up. He might actually still be 200%. Vegeta is a Dragon Ball seeker, so he is actually on Glorio's 200%. So he does fit on the team, although he's not a demonic power unit, he is an extreme unit. What this does mean is that if you did throw Vegeta on the team, what would happen is you would actually lose a chunk of attack or defense. This is what would happen, unfortunately, because he does gain a specific amount of attack and defense for each one, depending on which has more members. So because he's not on demonic power, if you had a full demonic power team, then that means it would default to the full demonic power. If there's 5 demonic power over more extreme units, then it will count that only. I don't think this will happen though. I think if you're running him, it will count it on a full like extreme team. So if you run this guy, you can run him on Lord Slug and that'd be a full extreme team. But yeah, so just be very wary if you do decide to use Vegeta, because it will make this Piccolo technically weaker. But I had to throw him in there just because he's new and he's also looking for a partner. But anyways, I did throw in the Kid Gohan and Piccolo unit. I did this because although he's not a super type, he can be on Double Glorio. And honestly, this is this Kid Gohan Piccolo's best team to be run on. And he is an amazing slot 1 unit, specifically once he transforms into Piccolo. You know, he's not time crunched anymore. He's constantly raising his defense. He's got 50% damage reduction. He's supporting other superclass allies. He's got dodge chance when your HP falls below a certain amount. So, I mean, he is a pretty good partner, although he's also not surviving critical attacks, so that has to be something to be said. But this is just showing you how difficult it is to run this Demon King Piccolo. He has very, very few options to be ran completely. He just has so many, very few options to be ran in general. So although, yes, you can keep him in slot 2 once he gets to his standby finish, I would highly suggest that you just keep this guy as a floating support unit. That is where I think he thrives the best at, where he will do the best in general in the game right now at the time of writing. If this changes at any point in time, I will maybe update the video or maybe throw out a short or something. Or just make a pinned comment, I don't know, but right now, he doesn't have a good home. And he's just a nice floating support unit. Now, as I've told people before, I am putting my team builds on hold, technically, on pause. But I will show you some of these teams that I was testing out to try and utilize Demon King Piccolo the best that I possibly could. Remember, you have to have a full extreme team or a full a demonic power team. These Lord Slug teams are utilizing very high level units. You have Lord Slug right here as the primary leader, with Broly as the next big unit on the team here, and then Int Broly. And then, of course, like I said, Vegeta as a decent option, and then good old Janemba. But because of how this team synergy goes, unless you get him to actually his standby finish specifically, you can't really keep him on rotation anymore. But that would be the time where you would actually keep him along with Vegeta in slot 1. And Janemba is the oddball out here on the team. This team is not a very good synergized team. It's more like if you end up with Lord Slug on rotation, then hopefully you have Janemba to have big bad bosses. If you want to try and keep Demon King Piccolo on rotation, then you should probably have Vegeta in slot 1 or even this Tech Broly. It's a very wonky team that can work, but not for a lot of content. I did change it up a little bit with this team, this next team right here. This next team just was switched out a couple things, and I threw in this Demigra unit right here. Demigra is actually absurdly good. I feel like he's very underutilized, but unfortunately he is a Dragon Ball Heroes unit, so not many people have the ability to utilize him. He can be thrown into slot 2 or 3 where he's supporting extreme class allies and giving crit as well. And then he's a solid tank in slot 1, which is why you could technically utilize him as well. And then, of course, we had to throw Buhan onto this team because Buhan is Buhan. Once again, big bad bosses issues back and forth. Remember, Demon King Piccolo does not have big bad bosses. The weakest team on here, yes, the weakest, is the LR Frieza, Go Frieza. Unfortunately, this unit is a Battle of Fate 220 lead, and this is just a hamstray of random Battle of Fate units that I tried to throw together. There's just not a lot to utilize when you're stuck to only extreme units in this case. So it is the least team I would suggest is with the Go Frieza unit. The next team here is 2 different sets of demonic power teams. You have a demonic power team with double Glorio, where you're actually using super units. I personally love the rotation of the Kid Piccolo, or Kid Gohan and Piccolo, and then Nail. I think this is a fantastic rotation, especially once you actually transform into Piccolo from Kid Gohan. And then I feel like Beast Gohan along with the family Kamehameha Gohan is a very excellent rotation. And with double Glorio support, they're actually doing really well. And then honestly, in this team, I just go ahead and float off. This is where I would utilize Demon King Piccolo in slot 3, where he is supporting demonic power units. The extreme version of this team is a little bit different, and once again with Heroes units. So I do apologize for people that don't have Heroes units, but Demigra and then Dark King Mechibura would be the 2 units to keep on rotation, and then STR Kid Buu along with the Super Easy A Buhan. I feel like you could try to deviate a little bit on this team. It's really tough. It's really tough. You have to have a slot 1. You have to think of the double Glorio as in having Glorio and Demon King Piccolo as the floaters, solely as floaters. And then you have to think of the other 2 units as the main rotation. So slot 1 and slot 2. I will say that Hirudegarn might have some hope to be onto this kind of thing as a slot 1 dodge tank. I personally have terrible dodge luck, so I would not utilize him like that personally, but it doesn't mean you can't. But yeah, I also feel like the exchange Tech Buu that transforms into Super Buu would be a nice slot 1 option as long as you were keeping him with the Fat Buu. I feel like this would be a decent rotation, but once again, I don't feel that any of these teams could take on Jiren. I don't feel like any of these teams could handle critical moves. Maybe a couple of them, specifically the ones that have Int Broly, because you can potentially revive and try to kill him faster. You'll have to utilize items. We're in a new meta, everyone. We're in a new meta, so just be wary of that. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video, guys. It was a long video. I felt like I had to drag it out a little bit because I made you wait for so long. And unfortunately, at the end of this video, I will be telling you, I am not going to do a video for this guy. I'm not doing it. I can't do a video for this guy. This guy sucks. This unit sucks. It's terrible. This is one of the worst free-to-play units we have gotten in at least 3 years. It's pretty bad. They're pretty bad. If they don't get an easy A this week, I'll be astonished, because this is just a terrible unit. Just straight up terrible. So, anyways, guys, let me know what team you're going to be utilizing this LR Demon King Piccolo on. What build are you going to go on? What equipment are you going to be aiming for? And thank you for watching. Have a good day and a good night.